This is CTV News with Nafisa Kareem.
90% of the medical aid calls that we were going to, we weren't actually providing a critical intervention or having a meaningful impact on patient outcomes.
A change to how Victoria firefighters respond to calls. Why the department says it's needed to protect its members' mental health.
To understand who the whales are that visit southwest Vancouver Island, not seeing as many in that shocking condition that you're seeing a lot of these whales migrating.
The group is made up of approximately 200.
A unique group of gray whales are hanging out off our coast instead of heading to Alaska. Now researchers are trying to find out why. Plus, Adam finds out what happened when a bird-loving toddler meets a motor-loving macaw. Later on the Sawatsky sign-off. Good evening and thank you for joining us. We begin with big changes from Victoria's fire department, which will no longer respond to certain medical emergencies. The move is directly connected to the number of overdose calls firefighters have been attending, and it's to ensure the department doesn't lose staff to burnout and emotional distress. CTV's Brendan Strange shows us other first responders say it will alter response times.
January 5th this year, we changed the way we respond to emergency medical calls.
In a quiet but significant shift, Victoria's fire department has changed what 911 calls it will respond to, now skipping less serious medical emergencies.
About 90% of the medical aid calls that we were going to, we weren't actually providing a critical intervention or having a meaningful impact on patient outcomes.
In 2018, BC Emergency Health Services changed the way it categorized emergency medical calls, moving to the critical response model based on the urgency and severity of the call. Purple level calls are of the highest acuity, then followed by red, orange, yellow, green, and blue.
They still have the potential to be life-threatening or damaging to health, but they don't have the time sensitivity or the urgency that a purple level call would have.
Since the beginning of the pandemic, Victoria Fire's call volumes have been on the rise, peaking in 2024 with more than 12,000 calls. Many of those were for overdoses, fueled by the opioid crisis.
We were responding to a call approximately every 30 minutes, and so it was just like a revolving door for our members.
In an effort to ease the strain on firefighters and improve mental health, it's predicted under the new call system, demand will be cut in half, with around 6,000 calls per year.
At the end of the day, municipalities have the ability to dictate how they want to spend their fire department budgets.
The union representing BC paramedics say it understands why the department has gone in the direction it has.
They do not want to keep taking on more and more and more of the ambulance's work that is being downloaded to municipalities.
The paramedics union says it has been calling on the province for increased funding for more staff and units within the ambulance service. It does admit, with the fire department now only responding to purple calls, patient care could be in jeopardy while waiting for an ambulance to arrive.
We're already going to all the calls that they go to. It's just sometimes that, they're waiting on scene for hours with a patient. And a lot of times, those patients in the forward might be waiting without fire department assistance.
Brendan Strain, CTV News, Victoria.
The City of Victoria could soon have new bylaws in place, forcing landlords to offer cooling solutions in extreme summer heat. The motion passed unanimously at Victoria's Committee of the Whole meeting today. That leaves staff with a mandate to draft new rules that restrict landlords from prohibiting cooling equipment like AC units. Councillors also want to ensure renters have access to rooms below 26 degrees to prevent heat-related illnesses.
We want to make sure that in the next heat wave that people are safe. So this is the beginning of a process, kind of ideally updating some of our older rental buildings that weren't designed for increasing temperatures, but are going to have to be adapted to make sure people living in those places can stay alive.
It's unclear when the new bylaws will be complete. Roughly 600 people died in BC following the heat dome that blanketed much of the province with 40-plus degree weather in 2021. It's been an unfortunate headline this spring, dead gray whales being found along our coast. The marine mammals are making their annual migration to the Arctic to feed, but climate change is making it more difficult. CTV's Andy Garland shows us there is a small group of those whales that don't make the trek. Instead, they stay off our coast to forage every year. And now a group of researchers is working to find out why.
Mark and Ashley are co-founders of the Whales of Clayoquot and Barkley.
We work to understand who the whales are that visit southwest Vancouver Island.
Their latest project is working as research associates with the Marine Education and Research Society.
Trying to record drone imagery of our local whales in this area.
The species they're focused on is the gray whale.
We have a subpopulation known as the Pacific Coast Feeding Group.
The group is made up of approximately 230 gray whales. They stay in the Pacific Northwest from Oregon to Vancouver Island to feed every year instead of making the full migration to the Arctic. Researchers are trying to find out why.
Collaborations between different researchers across the range of these very international animals will hopefully start to be able to answer some of those questions in the near future.
Using a drone with the approval of the Department of Fisheries and Oceans, the pair since 2020 are trying to identify each gray whale as well as document their body condition and feeding behavior.
2025, we recorded drone imagery of 28 different whales. And 22 of those whales that are our local grey whales.
Grey whales can be individually identified by their unique markings.
All these different sort of like spots and splotches and scrapes and white marks of pigmentation, so they're all very individual.
When a grey whale has come to the surface, a full-body drone aerial image is taken. Then, by using software developed by Oregon State University, they can determine the whale's size and condition.
And that measurement creates a surface area that we can kind of get a good idea of the health of this whale.
It looks like in this video a gray whale becoming stranded in shallow water, but it's actually feeding on shrimp-like creatures called mysids and crab larvae off the muddy sediment floor.
As it surfaces in a moment, mouth closed, tongue pumping forwards and almost like, I would say, panning for gold.
It's too early to tell if the Pacific Coast Feeding Group are doing better than the gray whales who migrate to the Arctic to feed, which have washed up dead along our coasts at unprecedented numbers this year. But there's signs that they are.
We're not seeing as many in that shocking condition that you're seeing a lot of these whales migrating by.
Moms with calves like this one last year are known to be in the worst body condition, but video evidence from California this year shows her condition has dramatically improved.
She's found a reliable food source and has bounced back. The whales in the best condition are known to be calves, and that was backed up by the work we did last year as well.
The two hope the data they gather will help better understand their habits and if climate change will impact them like it has with the Arctic migration.
To answer questions like that, have more knowledge to inform future conservation decisions about this species, I think it'll be quite powerful.
Andy Garland, CTV News, Tofino.
One person has been charged after two suspicious brush fires were allegedly set in Port Alberni, the latest last night. The Cherry Creek Fire Department was called to the north side of the Alberni Highway near the Coombs Country Candy Store around 10 last night. Before they could arrive, several bystanders leapt into action, pouring bottles of Gatorade on the fire. Police say they arrested someone nearby. A 38-year-old man has been charged with 2 counts of arson and remains in custody. The fire chief credits the Good Samaritans for preventing the flames from spreading. A group opposed to a new data center gathered in Nanaimo today to share their concerns over the project. Council approved rezoning in 2023 to allow for a data center at 2090 Wellington Road in Nanaimo. Since then, there has been public outcry over the facility, with concerns ranging from water usage security to the use of the local watershed and the local government's ability to enforce regulations on data centers. Several Nanaimo councillors and the leader of the BC Green Party spoke out today.
What I'm hearing in Nanaimo and I'm seeing across BC is a huge degree of concern about the proliferation of the data center industry and a lack of faith in the government properly regulating this at a time when resources are becoming scarce. We're in a drought, we're in an energy crisis, and are data centers really the priority?
On its website, the city of Nanaimo claims the facility will use between 56 and 69,000 liters of water per day for cooling and domestic purposes, which equates to 1.19% of the city's daily water use. A major expansion of one of BC's biggest energy projects is one step closer to reality tonight. The province is teaming up with the federal government and industry to push more investment in LNG. The province says a new agreement with LNG Canada hopes to clear the final hurdles towards a possible investment decision later this year for a proposed second phase of the project currently operating in Kitimat. That investment would include additional funding for engineering work, supply chain agreements, and consultations with First Nations. The province says this expansion could create thousands of construction jobs and help position Canada as one of the world's top LNG exporters.
When, and I'm saying when, I'm very hopeful here, when LNG Canada reaches final investment decision before the end of the year, it will be the largest private sector investment in Canadian history.
This is a perfect example of the momentum Canada has right now. When the federal government, the provincial government, and industry work together on common goals to build Canada strong.
The project is still subject to final approvals and a formal investment decision by partners. As we showed you yesterday, the Malahat Skywalk has added a new feature that may make you queasy if you have a fear of heights. Our fearless friends at Virgin Radio, Bailey and Johnny, took the leap to test it out.
With nothing but glass around you, the overhang delivers a rush from the very first step.
250 meters above sea level, and it is a glass cube, and you are looking down at the most beautiful forest here on Vancouver Island.
From the overhang, you can see so much. You can see Finlayson Arm, Saanich Inlet, the peninsula, Gulf Islands, and if you can get here on a clear day, you might even see Mount Baker.
The overhang is now open at the Malahat Skywalk, located just 35 minutes from Victoria, and it's open year-round.
That was insane. Such a thrill. My heart is still racing, but you got to come and check it out for yourself.
What are you doing? Come up to the Malahat Skywalk now.
Still ahead, powering into the future.
Because the path to affordability is electrification.
We'll show you the ambitious plan to double the grid.
We get to 18 degrees early this afternoon, but temperatures have been sliding since then. Right now we're at 12 at the harbor, 13 at the airport. Some showers, maybe even some isolated thunderstorms for parts of the island tomorrow. Talk about that after the break.
Josh, it's not the long weekend yet, but we're all thinking about it. What's the weather going to be like?
Well, it's going to start off cool and wet, but I think for most of the island, it's going to get progressively better and better as the weekend wears on. So we've got some showers making their way across the island right now. We'll see a bit more of that tomorrow, but I think for most areas, it actually looks pretty dry for Sunday, Monday. 13 degrees right now at the airport. Still pretty brisk wind out of the southwest, about 25 kilometers per hour. A little cooler at Tofino and Port Alberni at 10, 11 degrees. You do have some showers that have been making their way through. We'll see a break in behind that wave there for overnight tonight. And then another wave rolls in. This is tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Friday. Out along the west coast, Victoria, up through Nanaimo. Comox will probably get grazed with a few showers. And through the afternoon hours, there might be some spotty thunderstorms that bubble. I don't think it's going to be all that widespread, but there may be one or two that pop up across the island. Into Saturday, again, you're looking at a chance of a few scattered showers here, and maybe, once again, around Nanaimo and Port Alberni, maybe an isolated thunderstorm. Here's the big story. You see this colder air. There's an upper level low that's going to drop in for the start of the long weekend, but that moves out. We get back into some ridging towards the end of the weekend and into early next week, and that's going to bring back some heat for next week. Here's what we're looking at for the next couple of days, though. A handful of degrees below average in the north. 10 degrees, periods of rain. Chance of an isolated thunderstorm tomorrow. Could see a few scattered showers, gusts to about 40 kilometers per hour on Saturday, and then some sunshine. 14 for Sunday. Rain on Monday with a high of 11. Inland areas, though, looks dry for Sunday, Monday. Wet tomorrow, though. Showers, gusts to about 50 kilometers per hour. Chance of a thunderstorm, especially around Port Alberni tomorrow. 12 degrees is 6 degrees cooler than average. Look at Sunday and Monday, though. 21 and 18. So big warm up after Saturday. 10 degrees on the west coast. mostly cloudy skies, chance of some showers tomorrow. Breezy, gusts to about 40 kilometers per hour. Looks like gusts Saturday could be around 50 or 60 kilometers per hour, but it will be drier on Saturday. After a wet one tomorrow, partly cloudy skies Saturday, sunshine for Sunday, and then especially later in the day, Victoria Day Monday, you're going to see a chance of some showers move back into the picture. Comox, showers, windy, gusts to about 50 or 60 kilometers per hour. Chance of an isolated thunderstorm, high of 12 tomorrow. Back to average on Saturday, partly cloudy skies. Again, a little breezy and just a slight chance of a spotty shower. I think dry for most of the day. Sunshine, though, for Sunday. Showers, risk of a thunderstorm, and breezy tomorrow in Nanaimo, high of 13. You're back to average on Saturday. Again, it's a slight chance of a scattered shower for Saturday, but drier for Sunday. Monday, a little sunnier as well. Sunday, Monday, and breezy in Victoria tomorrow, gusts to about 40 kilometers per hour. Mostly cloudy skies. Good chance of some showers. Can't rule out a thunderstorm in the area. I don't know that it's going to hit the city itself, but in the area. 15 degrees Saturday, and then 18 and 17 for Sunday, Monday, and a little sunnier for Sunday and Monday. Just Monday night, you might see a little shower to cap the long weekend if you so. But not bad temperatures all in all once you get through that cool one tomorrow.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks, Josh. Now to a long-awaited national electricity strategy announced today by the Prime Minister. A significant plan to double the grid by 2050 and, in the process, transition to a low-emission economy, create jobs, and bring consumer costs down. CTV's Abigail Beeman breaks down the proposal and whether it can be accomplished.
The Prime Minister amped up to deliver a long-awaited electricity strategy with a plan to double Canada's capacity.
As our industries expand, our economy grows, AI accelerates, electricity demand in Canada is expected to double by 2050. So we will double our grid.
The government estimates the expansion could add 130,000 high-paying jobs by 2050.
This announcement in electricity, as far as I'm concerned, is the greatest announcement since, well, electricity itself.
Canada's current electrical system is complex and siloed. The Prime Minister concedes it's often easier to trade power with the United States than interprovincially, costing Canada billions.
Tying our grids together, and that will be that will be essential, and that's where the federal government has to come in and help the provinces make good choices that work strategically for the nation.
To help build and power an expanded grid, Mark Carney is proposing more flexibility to scale up natural gas, especially important in Western Canada, by loosening Trudeau-era clean electricity regulations.
It is a betrayal of the years of time that was spent with stakeholders and utilities and Indigenous nations on developing the federal clean electricity regulations.
He re-announced the same electricity plan that the Liberals have used over the last decade to jack up the cost of power bills by 35%.
While the government promises this expansion will eventually lower bills, it also puts the price tag at more than $1 trillion overall and couldn't provide any details about a breakdown or who would pay for what. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
Coming up, the motoring macaw. Adam's random search for a story ended after he drove beside a classic car and noticed a bird in the passenger seat. That's next on the Sawatsky Sign-Off. Finally, Adam meets a bird-loving toddler in Parksville who unexpectedly spots a motor-loving macaw on the Sawatsky Sign-Off.
That's Evelyn Fitzsimmons on the balcony, looking through her binoculars, searching for her daughter's favorite thing, birds.
Well, she goes out to the balcony and, she looks up at them, and, when the ravens do that, really, throaty sound, she's just like, blap, blap, bloop.
When Quinn's not answering the call of the wild ones perched across the street, she's asking to visit the injured ones being rehabilitated at the animal sanctuary. So you can imagine how the toddler felt when she noticed one in a car driving below them, riding on a windshield.
Yes.
That's Quinn's dad yelling from their balcony,
yes,
asking if his daughter could meet the motoring macaw named Admiral Nelson.
He's a good companion. Very good companion.
Jim Turner says Admiral Nelson first bonded with him when the bird was a baby. And for the past 25 years, the macaw has followed his man everywhere.
Been in schools, he's been in hospitals, he's been in old folks' homes. Even when I'm having a shower, he's on my shoulder.
And whenever Jim's getting the car ready, Admiral Nelson is preparing to perch in the passenger seat and seems to relish not just the rides, but the people they meet along the way.
The worst thing for him was COVID, when he had to stay home for a year and a half, and that's when he started pulling feathers out, which is what parrots do when they're unhappy.
But as soon as they returned to visiting others, Jim says Admiral Nelson's plucking decreased, feathers increased, and mood took flight.
The thing is, he's a flock animal. Humans are his flock.
And today, Admiral Nelson is expanding the flock by raising his leg to include Quinn and her family.
Kids waved at him, and that's why he started waving back like he's doing right now.
Quinn responds by raising her arm and sharing more than a few smiles.
And anytime I can put a smile on 30 people's faces is a good day.
So the next time Quinn and her mom are searching for birds up in the trees, they'll also look down on the road in the hopes of waving at their new feathered friend driving by. Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, Parksville.
That is a sweet ride for Admiral Nelson. That is all for CTV News Vancouver Island. Thank you so much for joining us. Good night.